Hey everyone, MTast here, and today I want to talk about Dehya. Xinyan has been known as one of the worst 4 stars in the game, if not worst character in the game. But Dehya? She might be one of the worst 5 stars to enter the game next to Chi-Chi. She's gonna be taking the reins. Maybe not quite to that level, but Dehya looks suspect. And I already did a video talking about her having lower scaling, and the damage numbers didn't look great. But even in that video, I mentioned, hey, you know what, that's okay, because we have characters like Xing Cho. We have characters like Yelan that can carry. But it turns out Dehya doesn't work with them because of the way her burst works. And I want to explain what's going on here, but this is mind-blowing to me. This is terrible, and I feel really bad for anyone that was excited for Dehya. Even the people that are on the Dehya mains Discord, I know there's going to be some people who still love the character and they like the design, but if you like the numbers, it's not looking very good for this 5-star unit, and I'm going to be skipping all day of the week. Also, because I have no Primo Gems and I have no shot at getting her anyways, right? Right? This video is sponsored by Clash Royale, a free-to-play PvP game where you're trying to take out the enemy towers without losing your own. There are multiple units to collect and upgrade, such as the Musketeer, the Giant, the Hog Riders, and more. Each unit has pros and cons, strengths and weaknesses, and this game has a ton of strategy, but it's also very easy to pick up and learn. If you're looking for something new, try Clash Royale today. As you battle other players and win, you can make your way through the ranks and get things like chests and even free cards. Even though I've only played for a couple of days, I've already started to build out my card collection, I've built out my battle deck, and I've even been able to upgrade quite a few of the cards that I really enjoy using. And another feature I really like about this is if there's particular cards you want, you can request them or even trade with your clan. And there's always events going on in Clash Royale, so you can play new game modes and get great rewards. So what are you waiting for? Click the link down below and download Clash Royale today for free. It's an amazing little game. I've been really enjoying it. You can play it on Android, you can play it on Apple. What are you waiting for? It also helps out the Tashman tremendously, so it would make me look real good. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into the content. Now, I already did a video talking about the damage scaling. People are looking at her multipliers and comparing her to Ayaka. When you use Ayaka's burst, it's like 5,000% of her attack as damage. But looking at Dehya, it's like half of that. And people are worried that that's gonna suck. But on top of that, she has something that's known as split scaling. I don't know if it's changed for sure. I've looked at the leaks, but I'm going to wait for the final version. But if you look at someone like Ayato, you can see that he gets damage based on his HP. And it's a very small amount, and you could consider this some sort of split scaling. But this is essentially just extra damage. And there's going to be situations, even if you look at his weapon, HP is increased here, you get attack based on that HP. Sometimes split scaling can just add some extra damage. It's not the end of the world. If you look at something like the Staff of Homa, HP is increased, you're getting attack based on it. In a lot of cases, it works out, it's not an issue. But players are saying that Dehya's scaling is just bad. And, you know, the options to build her are just bad. And she doesn't look like she's going to bring a lot of those hot numbers. But the biggest issue is not even the scaling. It's actually the characters that work with her. So let me just paint the picture. So after Raiden Shogun's burst ability, she's slicing and dicing, and it looks like normal attacks, but it isn't. It doesn't count as a normal attack. You don't even have to level up her normal attacks. Because it's counted as burst damage, it doesn't actually work with this Stormcaller. When normal and charged attacks hit, they create a lightning discharge. Because it's a burst, this doesn't work with Beidou. And that was one of the things that I complained about right at the beginning, because I thought it would be cool to do this double electro thing. But it doesn't work. The same thing is going on with Dehya. Now, let me kind of showcase this. I can't show you the footage, because I don't want to get banned, but when you use Dehya's burst, she's essentially doing this. Yeah! Yeah! Slamming and jamming. But here is the kicker. Here's the craziest thing. When you use Dehya's burst, it is considered an animation. And because it's not considered a click or a button press or a normal attack, it won't proc Xingqiu, and it won't proc Yelan. And two of the best hydro applicators in the game will not work. Could you use someone like Kokomi? Sure, maybe you could. But hydro application is going to be a major issue. And maybe there's a Fontaine character like the Archon that will come out down the road and she'll work fine. But as it sits right now, even though her scaling is not great, she can't really be salvaged by getting to vape multiple times. And that is scary. And looking at her kit, maybe you could do some like reverse melt type stuff with Rosaria and Ganyu, maybe, but it's not looking very good for Dehya. Because one of the main tools that makes pyro characters work doesn't function. And that is mind-blowing to me. It also sounds really unfun. I like slamming and jamming with D-Luke and Razor. I don't mind it. But to press the button and then just watch her do these big slamming attacks sounds super dumb. Now, I can't confirm or deny if this is 100% true because I don't have access to the server. And, I haven't got to play with the character. But we're going to find out in just a few days. There is a stream coming, and maybe they'll discuss this, but woo, this does not look good. This does not look good at all. This is actually spooky. And I think that it could be one of the worst selling characters in the game. If the scaling's not there, and if the gameplay just isn't fun, maybe people will love it, or maybe they're going to go do the test run and go, oh god, this is boring. You just press a button and you're watching animations the whole time. And that's a little bit scary to me. It's sad. I wanted to get her really bad. I was really excited about this character. It was one of the only characters I've been hyped about in a long time. And pretty much all my dreams are crushed on that. That being said, when I first heard about the picture taking, when I first heard about this, I was like, oh god, that sucks. I saw a screenshot of it, and I was like, oh god, it's terrible. And when I tested it, and I realized you could just kind of run into a group of enemies and go, and tag everything, and it was really fast, I didn't care as much. I wasn't too worried about it. And Nahida ended up being amazing. She's a lot more fluid to play. And so maybe Dehya's going to have the same situation. But unless they start bringing up some of the numbers, it isn't looking good for our girl. It's looking really bad. And, the other thing you have to think about is, a lot of people build Xingqiu. A lot of people have built Yelan, especially now that the banner is back. And they invest a whole bunch in these hydro characters, and they're not going to work. And so depending on where you are, if you're a new player, you might have a bunch of really cool hydro characters that you've built because they work in a lot of places. And then Dehya comes along, and she's like, ignore all that. I'm not even going to work with anyone. So I don't know how they dig themselves out of this hole. Maybe there's going to be a big buff coming. Maybe she'll function down the road with a Fontaine character. But until that character comes out, there's no shot I will recommend Dehya. If all of this comes out, if it's all true, gamers, Dehya mains, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. If you're frustrated, hey, I apologize that I can't do more. I hope that you can recover. I hope you can heal. Some people are still going to get her, but I've got one saving grace. I've got one little thing for you, okay? Hyperbloom has completely and fundamentally changed the game. And I want to make a whole video on it. But I built Lisa on my other account. And I was doing like 5,000, 6,000 damage Hyperblooms like a few days into the account. Okay? And the way Hyperbloom scales and scales with your level and scales with EM, it's one of the reasons why I'm actually building Kuki. Now that I've got some constellations on her, I don't have everything I need. I am working to build Kuki. Because Hyperbloom is so busted that if you were to take a brand new account and you were going to do a speed run to beat the Spiral Abyss, I think the only route, if you're trying to like break the record, would be to go Hyperbloom. Because you don't need a crit damage helmet with crit rate substats, and people keep arguing, well, EM is really hard to land. Agreed. I know that mathematically and statistically, Elemental Mastery is one of the hardest things to get. But these stats, substats, don't matter. Really. All of the damage is front-loaded into the EM, and all of this stuff is just cherry on top. Where if you're looking at, a god tier helmet, something that you can be really excited about, you're probably going to need some of these other substats that really take it to the next level, really get exciting. And I just think that people are underestimating or not realizing that something like this, the difficulty to get crit damage with a bunch of crit rate rolls, even some other stats that you might want, is very, 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 very hard. And it's way harder to get this than to just get an EM piece. You're essentially doing the same thing, getting crit damage and the crit rate and landing in crit rate. It's magnitudes harder to do. And so EM has simplified how easy it is to do a lot of damage because of hyperbloom. And if you use the Traveler and maybe a couple other characters, maybe you've got Tarnari or you've got some other units, hyperbloom is so busted that even if Dehya sucks, who cares? Who cares? If Dehya sucks and you're frustrated about her multipliers, you can still beat the Abyss. You can clear it with any other character. And Dehya will still be good enough to clear it all day. I guarantee it, you'll be able to clear the Abyss with Dehya. She might not be the best. She might not be ultimate or optimal. Jesus Christ. But she'll still work. But there's always hyperbloom at this point in the game. If I would have gone back in time and hyperbloom was a thing, I would have played this game completely differently. I wouldn't have grinded artifacts the way I used to. I'm going to do a whole video about this, but it has completely changed everything with Genshin Impact. And so you need to take the strength of the characters in this game even less seriously now than you ever did before. Especially knowing that there's no further content really than the Spiral Abyss. Just play who you want, okay? So I understand that I make a video, I'm talking about the drama, I'm talking about the bad character, but at the end of the day, it's not the biggest deal. So I want to throw that in there. Maybe it gives you a little bit of hopium, but that's pretty much it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to get the old Clash Royale download, right? Help out the Tashman down below, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.